Okay, this is part 4 of my Firefly mod, and I guess I'm going to start with, it was going to either be the hands or the dial, and I think I'm going to modify the dial first. This is a SKX809 dial. It's a Seiko 5, obviously range. I guess it was from a field watch style, and the crown would be at the 4 o'clock or 3:45-ish. So this matches the SKX orientation, so you don't have to cut off the feed or modify the back of it at least, and use dial dots. So you can just use it straight on there without, any problems with fitment. And I got this because I wanted something that was a field design with a 24-hour kind of indicators on the inside or something. It was this or the SARG 015, or is it 17? It's the black, it's kind of an alpinist looking thing, watch, but it's 41 or 42 millimeters instead of, or is it 40? It's larger than an alpinist, I know that. It's at least 40 millimeters. I think it's 42 or 41, but anyways, it has a similar design too, and it's open, but the crown is at the 3, and I didn't want to modify it. Anyways, and I like the fact that these numerals also loom up, whereas that one, I think it's only the indices on the outside that loom up. So yeah, I wanted to try something with the loom up right inside the dial with the Arabic numerals. So I was debating what to do with the Seiko 5 logo mainly. It's not a bad thing. I mean, actually there's quite a lot of nice Seiko 5 models out there, so it's nothing to be ashamed of. But I want to keep it simpler by just only having the Seiko logo. And the only trick now is what to do with this once, what to do with it. I was either going to tone it down by maybe filling in some black inside where I guess it's white in there, in the middle, and the negative space around the 5, in black or gray, or maybe even an accent color with red, something like that. And I would have gone so far as to potentially, you see that, maybe even fill it in with blue. It would have been cool, and it's doable, but I don't know if I can capture this good enough. It's probably too small to see, but I guess at this angle you can kind of see the edge, how it's engraved, I guess, into it. And where I would fill it in, it's not that deep, it's rather shallow, so it'd be kind of hard to fill it in smoothly, except with a very light application. I don't know, especially working with loom, it can get pretty messy. It's trying to get all that detail in right. So yeah, then my other option was just to completely remove it. And if I did that, the only trick is there'll probably be some holes left. Not probably, there will be. So what do I do about that? Once that is popped off and removed, what do I do about that? And I thought about it, and if I'm not mistaken, the holes will be pretty small, so I was basically thinking of either filling them in each with like an LED, like a tiny little red LED, just to make it look kind of sci-fi and technical. Actually, I was going to use it as like what would be a tracking device, where you have 2 dots, and if you can imagine, once that's gone, 2 dots where there'll be a little small red LEDs, and they indicate, if you set a tracker, it'll beep intermittently. The farther away, of course, the slower the longer the intervals, and the closer you are, the quicker the intervals. And solid is like when you're within say 100 meters or less than that. I don't know. I haven't thought about it that deeply. And to indicate direction, you know, the two dots would either blink one side, like the left one would blink, and that means you should probably turn your heading to obviously the left until, or if you're on the right, it'll keep on the right side, and you turn your heading to either way till both of them simultaneously blink, and that means that's straight ahead. So that's how you would use something like that. Could I actually get that functioning in there? I don't have the electronic skills, but I figure I would have some fun and maybe kind of pretend if there was, you know, this was kind of like a spy watch or something for, you know, that was sophisticated enough by some operatives now or in the near future. That'd be kind of a neat little device. In addition to that, I thought maybe what would be cool is to put a, you know, like a military, like broad arrow design that you see in some of the vintage, you know, watches from World War II. Think of the Dirty Dozen watches. You know which one I'm talking about. And it's a classic design that they have on some British military watches and a bunch of different ones. It's just like a real simple, you know, triangle-shaped arrow with a, you know, line going down the middle to be a pointer or arrow. And I'm thinking of fitting that in between. And if you've seen my mock-up, you've seen that what I did with that, and I did actually put one in. So it could either go just the point in line with right between the dots, and you know, then it come down. Just imagine this on the other side of the dial, obviously. It'll be in between the dots. Let me see if I can get a pointer in here carefully. Maybe in between the dots, and then maybe the arrows would kind of go out like that and then down a little bit. But I'd have to push it down kind of far, and it'd be pretty small if you think about it, where that would be. Just trying to see where these holes are. Yeah, it seems like it's closer to this hole on this side than I thought, but shouldn't be. Those feet should be right kind of center somewhere. So that'd be okay. Or I could just forgo the red LED idea and just make a tool again. Make a pointer piece that goes right through, that covers the holes. That was my original. That would be the other plan. Just forgo that and just do an arrow. And how would I do that? I could paint it, but I don't know if I can. I don't want to hand paint it and be a bitch to mask it off properly to get some nice straight edges, because it's going to be very thin. So I'm probably going to try to do it out of like a decal. One white decal I'm going to cut carefully into a shape and then stick it on there. And there you go. It should cover the hole. I'll see. If the hole is too big, and I don't think it's going to really go right over it smooth enough and cover that hole, then I might go back to the original, the other idea with the red LEDs and make it something kind of fun and pseudo technical or fake technical, high tech, with a little range indicator and direction finder for, say, you were hooked up to some electronic tracker of some sort. Anyways, the only other trick now is what exactly is underneath this 5. Now, I'm hoping that it's just matte black, smooth, without an imprint or something of that 5 on there, or that badge, because that could really change my plans quite a bit. If I cannot, if there's still an imprint or some indication there used to be something in that area, then that's going to look weird, and I'm not going to want to try to spray over that or somehow touch it up so it disappears. That's not likely to happen. It's very hard to match this texture in black, even though it's just matte black, but it'll probably show up something that's off. So that's my only fear, is that there is still either it's unpainted, which I doubt, or somehow when they've stuck this in there, it maybe have left an imprint, or somehow a ghost of that badge, that shape will still be on the dial. And then in that case, oh jeez, I think I'm gonna have to try to just, I hope I can just press it back in and it'll be okay. You know, I'm just worried that it might get deformed. So I'm taking a gamble here. Sorry for the focus. I'm taking a gamble here on, I hope there's no glue. I'm sure there's no glue. Anyways, so what I'm gonna do is, you may not be able to see this clearly, but I'm gonna take this tool, I guess try to just carefully try to poke the badge out. Let me see if I can zoom up for you. Mind you, I'm doing this behind a camera, so there's only so much I can do here. Let me see if I can get just a little closer. Okay. I've done this to remove a Seiko emblem before on a vintage Seiko dial, a quartz dial, which I used in my Night King mod. And you guys are familiar with my other mods, SKX mod, then you'll know that one, and people like that because that dial otherwise would have been sterile. It was an aftermarket one, and I really didn't want that. I don't like a completely sterile dial, and I like to represent Seiko because they make awesome products, and it is a SKX after all. So let's see. I'm hoping that I can just nudge this guy out. I don't know, maybe should I use a broader tip? You know, trying to push it out a little by little. I don't know if they've actually put some cement in here or not. I mean, if I can't really get it out, then I might have to just stick with the Seiko 5 logo and just maybe, you know, tone it down by filling it in with some black or something. And I have some panel line kind of paint that'll just go right in there, and it'll probably do a pretty good job. And crap, is this? See this? Wow, I think that even the frame is a piece that's. Frame is actually a piece that was put into this, set into here. Amazing. Let's see, am I making any progress? Sorry, this could be very boring because this is not something you want to rush. Oh, see, it looks like it's coming off a little bit on one edge. Let's see, come on, like on this upper side. I'm hoping I can just carefully push it out just enough. Push it out just enough so that I can start to get an indication if... Oh shoot, that didn't sound good. Get an indication if... Let's see if we can see this. It is starting to lift off. You can see that. Oh god, I hope it's it is actually something I can work with. Otherwise, I can imagine this being a real pain in the ass to try to push back in evenly without deforming it, you know. You really have to these emblems are not that rigid, to be honest, especially like the Seiko emblem on the other side. When I was, at least the one I took, it was so easy to warp and bend, but you can shape it back fairly easily. you can see it is, you can kind of get an idea. It is starting to push off the dial there. Oh my God, I think it should be okay underneath there. So I'm gonna have to lift it up a little because there's no place for me to push the thing out of. Sorry, I'm off camera. I'm trying to hold it close to me. If it gets dark because of the shadows, I apologize, but it's the crappy lighting I have to work with indoors in my living room. To see. And just slowly inch it out. I know. What if it's like stuck to the dial and it takes off some of the paint? It's a complete F me moment. And then I'll be ranting on the side, a lot of swear words. So you gotta be careful. I mean, these dials are pretty solid, but you know, I want to make sure I don't. Accidentally push too much where it somehow either dead center. You see it starts to bubble out from the, or somehow you squeeze it in such a way that the dial folds on itself. It like collapses into like basically like a little mini taco, if you can imagine that, because I'm holding either side and put pressure in the middle, and if it folds up, that would not be funny. It's like, oh man, you know, it's one thing to ruin a good dial. It's not actually all that bad the way it is. It is coming off though. Check this out. Focus. I think it looks okay, but so much shadow I can't tell. But I don't seem to see any indication that there's anything that's really off about it in terms of the surrounding area around the holes where the batch would normally cover over. But anyways, yeah, it's not so much about ruining a perfectly good dial, which is it's definitely a bad thing. But it's trying to come out. But oh geez, let me see if I can see in there. I think it looks okay. I really should get a flashlight, huh? Peek. Hang on. Pause this for a second. White balance might go off a bit because I don't know. Gotta be careful here. The lighting is different. It's a cool light. That's why this is not balanced for that. But let me turn down the exposure so maybe you guys can see what's going on here too. Does this help? Not too much. Pump it up a bit. See, that's what I'm afraid of. You see how that part of the paint is lifting up? Right around that hole. I don't think it's going to be a prudent idea to remove that badge. See that? And that's why I wanted to carefully do it and not commit to really pushing it completely off yet. Because I think, unfortunately, the paint on top of it is, because it's not doing it on the, it's doing it more on the left. Well, currently, from what this angle is, the left side, you can clearly see there's like a slight line or ring around that prong or the feet, right? And turn this up low. And then the other side, it doesn't have that. So I'm afraid that if I... damn it. Yeah. I think I gotta leave the badge, because it's gonna probably take off some of that paint around the holes once I push it all the way through. And when that happens, that's no way to really fix that. Not without repainting the whole die or something, or doing something a lot larger to cover it up. So, crap. I was hoping that the paint, see, you never know. That's why I was trying to slowly do it. But that's why you need to slowly check and see what's going on before you commit to taking it off. And yeah, that's gonna be problematic. I'm almost certain it's gonna look ugly, because you're gonna just see this kind of a crack in the paint around some of those holes. And even if I wanted to somehow fake it by painting an LED or something over it a little bit larger, I don't think there's gonna be enough there to cover it. You know, it's noticeable already. You can see how it's gonna glow. Crap. I guess I gotta keep it. Oh well. There goes my broad arrow idea, because it's not gonna cover it. The holes are actually, it might be doable with covering the holes directly, but since the paint around it is cracked, sorry, I'm off camera. Since the paint around it is kind of cracked, it's just that's just not gonna fly. It's gonna be too wide of a line for the arrow if I try to even cover the crack part of it. Yeah, it's gonna look too fat. It's gonna look ridiculous. Yeah, I just don't think that's gonna work out. What do you think? Shoot. I think I'm just going to fill in the Seiko 5 with a little bit more black then, just to tone it down. Other than that, the badge does stick out a bit, but god damn it. It's really, let me see if I can, I don't think I can focus on it. See that? It's likely going to just leave a cracked kind of ring around the hole. Sorry if I'm talking a lot around this, but I really wanted to make that broad arrow over this spot really a reality, or at least have a chance to put in some red LEDs, tiny little red LEDs, or something that looks like that, you know, on there. But because the paint is cracked around there, that's just not going to work. Right? I mean, I'm not seeing things. I mean, like imagining. Sorry if I'm off camera again. Yeah. Alright. Well, better to keep the badge on. So hopefully I can carefully just let me brighten up the exposure back in. Let's put this back into view. Okay. Well, what I need to carefully do now is I should probably use one of these. It's a Q-tip. I was going to use this kind of flat. Oh, where is it? This sort of flat end or something, because it's rigid and precise. But I think to initially try to push it back in, I'm going to use this modeling swab, because it should be a lot less abrasive. Oh man, if it's loose, hopefully I didn't just like push it off too much where it's gonna pop out. I think I got it. I think it looks like it's gonna go back in. Just carefully, because again, these pieces are rather soft as well. So even by pushing it back in, it could potentially warp the, where I push it down hard, it may push down one, but then perhaps the rest of it may not go down as willingly and lift up, so it'll kind of create like these little wings or an arch or something. So I'm just going to push this down, and I think that should be fine. I gotta do a little bit more. Let's see here. You see that? I think it's still up a little bit. Let's just push this down good. Alright, well, the only thing I can do now is, I think I'm just going to tone it down by filling it in with some black. And that should be enough to make that 5. The 5 will still be there. It'll probably, I think it should still be bright enough, but I think everything around it, I want it to darken instead of having such a bright like overall emblem on there. Let's just make sure that I think it's pretty good. It might be slightly higher on the left side still, so I'm going to just apply there's a little bit more pressure on that side and to make sure. These are really good tools because they don't leave lint. These are from Tamiya. It's one of my favorite modeling brands, I guess, for paints and tools and stuff. And they come in different sizes, but this is pretty good because it's not like fuzzy like normal cotton, Q-tips, cotton swabs are. They leave a lot of lint and little bits, especially when you're trying to clean up areas, maybe with some paint, and you have some thinner or something like that. It's likely to leave some sort of debris behind. But these are nice and tight, and it's more firm too. So it's it gives you some good pressure to work with, firmness to work with if you need to really get in there and work apart delicately yet firm enough. I think that'll do. Looks even enough to me. So, yeah. I guess my plan now is let's just darken this, make it a little more stealthy, and I have time to do it now. Let's see, 11 o'clock. Won't take long. Yeah, put some in, and then all you need to do is, if it's too much, just put a little bit of thinner on this, and then you can just, like if it gets over the 5 or something too much, and it darkens more than you want, you can just put just a little bit, just enough so you can, that's why these are good too, because they got a solid surface. You can just lightly start to clean it up on the surface. You'll see what I mean. Let me get the stuff, and I'll be right back. Okay, so what I'm going to do is use this stuff here, Tamiya panel line accent color, black. It's great stuff. It just really goes into any kind of recess areas and get those details out, those panel lines that you want on like some really cool models like airplanes and sci-fi like Star Wars stuff and all sorts of goodies. And Yeah, so I am going to excuse me, trying to get over a cold too. Get close enough for you guys to see the highest resolution on this camera, but should do. So I hope I don't screw this up and drip something onto a part that I shouldn't. Okay, here we go. And it's kind of scary because sometimes there's these weird static that could be around parts. See, just dab it in there. Sometimes there's some weird static things that are ever present. There you go. Let's see. So I don't know if you can see that. Definitely darkened in all that area around the 5. So I'm trying to place this in such a way that the stuff will dry level. It doesn't take too long. As long as I didn't put too much, but darken more than I want it. Like the 5, obviously there's still some on the surface that I'm going to remove with some thinner in a little bit. But that's the basic gist of it. This stuff works great because it just goes right in there, and you know, goes right in between the spaces, the recesses, and it typically, you know, otherwise just trying to actually use regular paint to go in there and fill it in would be a pain in the ass. It's you definitely probably need cleanup work. It's no way you can get that deep into there. Except for you. Focus. Yeah, I know you can't really see this too well because the angle is on the dark side. But I'm just going to add just a little bit more. Just trying to make sure there's enough in there. So I think this will look pretty good. Just to darken it up. I mean, I guess, you know, if I really wanted to, I could probably thin out enough paint to put in some color and then just remove it. But, you know, I'm not trying to make this watch too colorful. Again, it's supposed to be kind of stealth ops type of thing. And, yeah, it'd probably be better to, because I do have a couple of colors which will be on the hands, but it's going to be very little, just enough to accent, you know. With a badge that's going to be in the central, it's going to be too much color, I think, than I want. Again, as I mentioned, I don't want anything completely stealthy, like so dark and gray and dark monotone that, you know, everything just looks basically like black or very dark gray. In one sense, that would be cool, be a very tactical military look, and that's probably maybe what you want for that. But I want a little pizzazz, you know. This would be a personal watch, and as such, I gotta fill in a little bit on the right side. It's starting to thin out a little bit. As such, yeah, you know, getting a little bit of color and pop and life back into an otherwise, you know, dark and dull watch. think it's welcome. I think you'll see that actually adds a little something, a little bit of detail and pizzazz. Because it'll look cool as is, but just that little extra hint of pop of color in there. Oh, is this not flat? It could be. Maybe that's why it's starting to tilt slightly down towards one side more. Maybe I need to do that. Tilt it up. So I'll come back and we'll try to clean this up in a little bit and bring out that 5 a little bit more. And you'll see basically the final look of this. Yeah, unfortunately I can't do the broad arrow that I wanted to do, which would have been totally awesome, I think, for this design, but this concept that I was going with, but it's just not going to work with the way the paint was starting to kind of cracked and lifted up off of the dial underneath the emblem around the holes as I was removing it. So yeah, I don't think it wouldn't have been a smart thing to keep going with that, knowing that you know, it's gonna look crappy once it's removed. And I can bet you it probably would have been hard to actually push it back in. I don't know, just trying to precisely find those holes again. Just to try to find those precise holes, just put those 2 prongs in again. Could be really fiddly work. You could miss, slip, scratch the dial or something, or some area around the badge, so that even if you did get it set back in, it might not be all that clean. So I think I'm just trying to add as much as I can get away with into that 5. It seems like every time I do it, and then it starts to, I think it's just drying, it's starting to, it kind of thins out, and doesn't leave as much black or darkness in there as I wanted. So there we go. I covered a lot in there. Let's see. I'll go walk the dog and maybe take one more shower before I come back and try to just touch it up. Hopefully it'll be dry enough by that time. This stuff doesn't take too long to really settle, so if it is, then you'll see me work on it. Otherwise, I'll do it later and you'll still see me work on it later. Alright, be right back. Okay, I think it's good right now to just touch up. And this is what it looks like right now. I had to actually put in a couple of passes because every time it dried thin, you know, it wouldn't be as dark as when I first laid it. So it's probably another 3 times, 4, maybe even 5 times. I just laid it on there just to make sure that, try to get that space around the 5 as dark as possible and even. And I think once I clean up the 5, it'll probably show up better. Anyways, I'm just using some thinner, and I'm just going to dip the end of this Q-tip into there. So I'm going to try to, how deep is it? Okay. some here, and get this into a shot here. And let's see if I can zoom up for you. As close as I can get. And I'm going to just blot some of the thinner out, so I don't have too much on here. I'm just going to stroke it across here so you can see how this is done. Let me try to. This is about as good as I can get. So you can see it's lifting off some, but because it's a flat swab, no, the surface is not like super fluffy like normal Q-tips are. You know, basically, you have a pretty hard edge that won't, you know, get into the recesses of the where you just filled in. That can get kind of frustrating, just trying to basically fight you know. It's like, oh, you just filled it in, and then when you go to clean it up, it pulls it right back out, which kind of sucks. As you can see, hopefully, this is lifting up all the excess paint that was on the surface of that emblem, because I just kind of covered it as much as I could, just to let as much of the paint get into the recesses of this emblem. And I'm just gonna bring back out, try to only bring back out the edge of the 5, you know, all the raised areas, so that what's inside is still basically black, whereas it was see if I go down lower like this, will this help? So the point of using this is that this particular swab is because it's not like a typical fluffy Q-tip. Not only it shouldn't go into the recesses of the emblem and pull the paint out, which you really don't want to do. Kind of reverses some of the work you just did. But sorry if I'm off camera. Just concentrate. But also the surrounding areas of the actual dial itself. You don't want any piece to kind of get into that, like on the outside, and kind of stain or dirty it, you know, leave marks or whatever. Yeah, at least that's the idea. So I'm just rotating this so I get a clean side. It's pretty much where I want to be. It's a 5 on the side still. Didn't get any. I don't know. Did I lift it out? For some reason it's problematic getting that black into this side on the right side of the emblem. So I guess I gotta go back into but I think that'll help out. Just gotta add a little bit more panel line into there. This stuff can get kind of messy. Just because of some of the paint is up on the sides of the brush. Try this stuff. Also, once it gets into your skin, it really kind of, again, it works with capillary action, so it wants to get into all the recesses. So your fingerprints, it's got plenty of that. So I just fill it all in. So, which it did earlier, but yeah. Let me try to clean this up later. Be back. Okay, I'm gonna try to get into this and clean it up one more time. Hopefully, tip is size enough to only lift off where I want. I think it was dipping into the recess just a bit somehow. I'm telling you, it's not that deep, really. So it doesn't take much to get up in there and accidentally remove more paint in areas that you don't want to be removed than not. I'm just going to go at this as lightly as possible. Just barely, hopefully barely touching the surface, but just enough to lift up. Little bit of paint that's on the raised areas. Terribly exciting. I am going to be quiet because I'm just trying to concentrate. It's kind of delicate work. That's really the only way you can do that, at least for me. Get too lax, you can quickly fuck it up. And if you hear my tummy, yes, I am kind of hungry. At almost at 1:30 a.m. That's kind of the other challenge here is time. think this time it's primarily taken off. Only what I want. Again, I'm kind of going in at a very low angle so that this tip can just turn focus. Sorry if it gets out of whack. I'm just lightly brush this thing on. Get too hasty and impatient, probably gonna end up removing more than I should. See if I go across this way. Can I get to it a little bit better? I don't know. It's just on the right side of that 5 on the outer frame, the emblem, I guess, the outline, whatever you want to call it. Still got a bit of paint on there, the raised part, and I'm just trying to lift that off gently. Last time you saw it, I guess did remove a little bit too much off. Wasn't such a good thing because I'm trying to just do what I need to and move on. That's why things get in there. That's why I kind of gave up on the idea of removing it completely. Because of the defect underneath, or what would have been left as a defect, I guess, which would have been slightly a bit of a crack ring kind of in the paint, the dial, the matte black part around the holes that are used to hold the emblem in. Okay, be careful here. Almost there. If you can see that, let's see. The paint isn't matte, it's kind of semi-gloss. But, okay, I don't know where it got cut off. But anyways, I think this is about the extent I'm going to do to remove the extra paint that was on the raised areas around the Seiko 5 emblem. I think it's good enough. I just wanted to darken it because it was a bit bright with I think it was basically a satin silver that's inside where I just filled in, and now it's all toned down, which is better. It doesn't need to be perfectly black, and actually in normal lighting, not in this video at least, I think you'll see that it actually is darker looking in contrast to the raised areas, so I think it'll be fine. Yeah, main thing is toning it down. Too bad I couldn't put a broad arrow in, as I explained it earlier, and was thinking maybe if I wanted to try to fit one still, I could do one maybe over the automatic, but it's going to be pretty small. I don't think it's going to be worth the effort. I don't know. Think about it, but likely not, because I want to maintain at least the same space between the emblem and this hole as down here. And if that's the case, then you know, that doesn't leave a lot. You know, because you need that. The hands will have a certain thickness around them and all that. I don't know. It'd be really tiny. I really don't think it'd be worth my effort, but I'll see. Maybe I might just mess around with it if I get bored. But for now, this dial is basically done. Just wanted to tone this. Well, I wanted to remove it, but I can't. So since I have to leave it, I toned down the emblem, and that's that. I think it'll be pretty cool. Again, this is basically what it should look like. Tighten that up. And there you go. It looks pretty tight once everything's put back together, especially with the hands obviously on top. Very good. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one, which is likely going to be I'm going to start work on the hands and relooming those. And after that, I don't know if I'll include it in the same video. I gotta custom paint the tips of the hands as well. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode. Part, I guess, 5 for the hands. Thanks, bye.